Welcome back to the Nose Plays Endless Space 2. Today we're picking up part 3 of our series on the United Empire and some of my best tips and strategies for playing with them. This is really beautiful artwork, and I like every once in a while to just take a moment to jump into some of the really nice graphics that the developers put into this game. There are a lot of hidden screens, hidden information in this game. One of the things that you can do is you can find out a ton of information about a particular planet if you get to this view and you hit the space bar, which gives you all kinds of really cool science statistics on the planet that you're looking at. As far as I'm aware, it has absolutely zero impact on the quality of the gameplay itself, has no interaction with the game whatsoever, but it's just kind of cool that they included that in the game for some reason. So there you go. I do know to some extent that planet types are generated by their distance from stars, and you have so many possible planets per star. So it seems like the most is 5, though I think there are some settings you can adjust to make that bigger. Look at this, you can kind of see the massive cities on these continents all lit up. It's really neat. Anyways, back to our game. So we've got a lot of things going on. We recently had a war declared by the Sophons. They thought that they were pretty hot stuff and sent some fleets over to mess with us, and we quickly took them out. At this point, we're trying to, as quickly as possible, colonize this entire wing of our constellation, and we're looking to get this bonus of plus 15% influence. We control 5 of 8 needed to own this constellation and claim control. However, these guys, we can clearly see they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's a lane right here that makes probably their 7th, and they're claiming an 8th currently. So the best bet we have of actually accomplishing this feat at this point is going to be taking systems away from them. Each system we take from them not only makes our cap 1 smaller, but it increases the number that we own, obviously. So that's what we're going to try and do today. Just taking a quick look, we currently have a nice stockpile of dust, mainly due to the fantastic numbers of luxury resources, particularly dark glitter, which we're selling in regular clips to the marketplace for money. We're also managing to pull positive on our dust production every turn, which is good. I don't care whether we stay positive exactly, as long as we don't go severely negative. As long as we're close to even, we'll be fine, because of all of the luxury resources we're going to have coming in. And even if the value of these continues to decrease over time, we're just going to be able to collect and sell so many of them every so many turns that it's not going to be a big issue for us. So I'm not too worried about it. Manpower, we've got our manpower generation up to 81 per turn, which is pretty high. We built a lot of food buildings and are continuing to do that in a few places. And the more food that we generate on each system, the bigger that this number will get per turn. We're almost close to 100 per turn, which basically means every turn we're able to fill an entire small military ship with a crew, which is good. Right now it's about every 3 or 4 turns, we can fill 2 ships. So we're getting there. Yeah. I don't think there's a whole lot left to do this turn. I do want to take a look at my laws and see if there's any laws that we want to pass. We're actually running... We just grabbed this recently. We're actually still running this law, which we do not need to be running any longer. And since we don't need to be running that any longer, we can go ahead and grab the Dirty Hands Act, since we do have some new systems and we're about to have some more. What else? What did we get built in Libra? So we already did our system development. I could buy this out at this point, but it's only 2 turns. So there's really no point in buying that building out at this point. Buying this one out, on the other hand, could we afford to buy predictive logistics out? No, not even close. That would be pretty awesome. You know, let's just go ahead and buy out drone networks and cerebral reality. We can buy both of those out, which is probably better than just buying this out. I don't think we needed our influence for anything, and we're still net positive even with running the Dirty Hands Act, so we're good there. Now the question is, what do we want to do with this fleet? I've debated whether to go ahead and take an aggressive stance on the Sophons while we're still in the middle of producing a lot of things, but I think it makes sense to go ahead and send this fleet over here, drop our manpower, and at the very least maybe send half of our fleet back while the other half goes over and starts harassing through... This is 7 points, so it'd be 14 per turn. The other thing we need to probably consider doing, we don't need probes on all of our ships. And in fact, we have a manpower module. We also currently have 300 manpower. If we were to put 3 manpower modules on 3 of these ships, remove some of the probes, that would give us a significant number of manpower to drop, or at least more significant. So I think that might be what I do. Yeah. So if we go here and we go here and we edit this, and we switch the probe with manpower. Let's see. Was there anything else we could upgrade? Nothing of note. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll change 3 of our ships. Let's see if there are... I guess we can just do these 3, right? I don't think it really matters. Now let's see, by doing that, we're going to have to wait for the manpower to fill. So it's going to take us a couple turns to fill this, but we're going to be able to do it in about 2 turns. And then we're going to be able to go over here and cause some havoc. Now in 2 turns, I guess the other question is, in 2 turns, would I be able to research this? I would. So in 2 turns, if we research this, we can equip some of our other ships with these titanium slugs, which would allow them to do more sieging. I think that's a good idea. So what we'll do is we'll build half of our fleet into an invasion force and the other half of our fleet into a sieging force. That's going to allow us to siege or invade this smaller system. This system's going to be much easier to take over because they only have 3 population, which means they're not going to be able to conscript very much. And then we can take our second fleet over to this system, our sieging fleet, and we can begin sieging their ships. Hopefully that will be enough of a force. We'll immediately send the invasion force back to restock. And yeah, hopefully that will be enough. I'm liking the way that this strategy is seemingly shaping up. Now, the one thing that I have not accounted for is we do have 2 pirate systems at level 4, and I haven't seen the pirate ships in a while. They could be significantly stronger than our ships at this point, so let's take a look. They're already doing some siege work for us. Hold on. They ended up leaving that system rather quickly. I didn't get a good chance to see what it said. I'm pretty sure I saw 600 troops, which means we're definitely not going to have enough to take over on the first turn. We're now the sovereigns of this system, which is good. Perhaps we can assimilate them. Reach 9 population, excluding your main population inhabitants. We're at 6 of 9. We have some Hishu and some Horatio, but we do not have any of these boosters. Could we potentially buy some of those boosters to make that more likely? Red Sang is fairly expensive. I don't see the other ones on the market. Gigalettuce, right? I think that's what that is. Gigalettuce, Red Sang, and Gossamer, something like that. Yeah, definitely not for sale. We do have some Red Sang production, do we not? We do not own a system with Red Sang yet. Where did I see Red Sang? I thought I saw some on one of our planets, but maybe that was another game I'm thinking of, or... Okay, maybe something else, I don't know. Interesting. Well, we might be able to achieve that. That would be cool. The other thing we can do is, because they're friendly with us now, hopefully we can park our ships there and retrofit them from their system. Gained another level. We could get more industry, more science. Ooh. We're really close to getting trading companies started, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this now preemptively so that we have the maximum benefit from getting those things up. Alright, so this fleet, once we get done doing whatever we're doing over here, we might be able to come over here and blockade this, and we can also come over here and retrofit. But I think blockading this system might help slow it down. It's going to take us several turns to get all these. Let's look at this real quick. They're going to get this in 6 turns no matter what we do. Blockading this does not prevent the food, but it does prevent the ships that come in and drop off food. Eden incense. Yeah, I think we'll just stay here. Oh. Okay. We have 2 separate fleets here. I need to regroup them. There we go. Okay, back this direction. It's going to take us 2 turns for that. Anything else we want to do this turn? We still have 8 probes. Is there any little bit of the galaxy we haven't uncovered that we can reach with our probes? Let's send one there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because they restock every turn, it makes sense to just keep on sending them. So that's what we're going to do. I do think I'm going to keep at least one of my ships with probes. So what we'll have is 3 invaders, 3 siege ships, and 1 scout ship. You know what? Maybe not. What I might do is I might put, if I haven't already, I might go ahead and... Oh, we didn't even retrofit this guy's ship yet. How naughty of me. Okay. Well, let's check the fleet first. What is the fleet speed? Is 8, so we need to make sure his ship has a speed of 8. So that puts us at 6. That puts us at 9. We don't need that, so we can put on a cheaper one. That puts us at 8. Okay, we don't need the guns. We don't need the crappy hull plating. So we'll put a probe on here for sure. I think a repair module makes sense because the heroes, when they die, they come back, and this will hopefully trigger and give them more of their hit points. Defenses, I think I'm just going to split the difference, 1 of each. And then I have 2 weapon module slots. I'm not sure what the best choice is. We want something that's going to do a fair amount of damage, but it is not easily counterable, and that's good at multiple ranges. I think maybe going something like this makes a little bit of sense. The one concern I have is if the other player starts using missiles, this will not be as effective, but having some swarm missiles with the lasers that we already have means that he can't just counter us with one type of damage. So we'll go ahead and go with that for now. Take a play from their own playbook. Okay, we have a million things I haven't done. Event. We can convert a portion of our food into dust for 10 turns, or 15% star system trade value on systems in the Empire for 10 turns. Whew. So the question is, do I think I'm going to get any trade going in the next 10 turns? Because this is more valuable than this, and I really don't want our food getting pulled from anything else. So I'm going to pick this, and we're going to try to rush getting a trade route up, and hopefully that we get to take advantage of some of that benefit. Holy moly. Plus 30 science on system or plus 20 influence on system. I think we can afford to take the influence hit, and we can use the science to help slingshot us into the trade victory that or not trade victory, but the trade routes that I'm trying to research and get down. We've unlocked a new collection bonus. Plus 15%, that's good. So that's going to help us get even more. We have another Horatio birth that gets us one closer to the Hishu quest that we have. So we should be 7 of 9, so we only need 2 more births and we're good. We'll get those guys. I think that's going to happen on its own eventually. Okay. New technology. We unlocked a new technology stage, which gives us new missiles, improved ship designs, more capacity on our empire, and better beam weapons, although I don't think they're as good as the laser weapons we're currently using. Conqueror of foes. Be the first to win 10 battles. Objective failed. Another empire's already achieved this deed. Oh, well, there you go. I wonder who it was. I think we all know who it was. Okay, trade companies are going to be done in 2 turns, and we can go ahead and retrofit these 4, because these 3 are the ones with the extra manpower, while these ones have less. But they're going to get the siege modules. Patrol edit. Titanium slugs. Yep, that looks good. And we're gonna go you, and you. Repair. And there we go. So those are all 10s, those are all 9s. This should be good. And he's got the probes now, so we still have 2 probes we can fire if we need to. We're going to get this fleet over here. I can see these ships now. What kind of pirate ships are we dealing with here? These ships have 3,000 hit points apiece, an offensive power of 72 and a defensive power of 180. Their defense is mainly shielding. These ones are a little bit heavier compared to my ships, which are much more powerful offensively and are spec'd for mainly kinetics, which they're kind of splitting. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, because if they have missiles, which it doesn't look like they're running missiles, it looks like they're running guns and lasers, so we should beat them pretty handily at long range. That's good for us. I've been neglecting my duties over here, I think. Hostile fauna. Lord of War. Reach 60 approval in these 3 systems. Well, we're already above that, so that's random technology. Reach 60 approval on Arcbar, Rotev, and Libra. Yeah, that one's already done, so boom. Reward of a random technology. This effect has expired, so we're losing science now. Another minor faction birth, minor civ birth. Public-private partnerships is finished. These guys are pretty much done over here, so let's get over to Warden and hope that we don't get attacked this time. We have full health, so if we have to retreat again, it's not the end of the world. I want to do this last, so I want to make sure everything else is going as according to plan. This is almost done. We're going to get these settlers out really quickly, and then we need to get something else to build. 13 turns to get this down is not unreasonable. We have lost... Okay, there we go. I want to try and maintain ecstatic in this system to get the bonuses for ecstatic, which are worthwhile. We may just keep pumping out settlers, I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't know how many I want to try to run at once. I know I'm going to run these two simultaneously. Maybe then these two simultaneously and finish off with that one last. But we'll see. Alright, let's get over here and wreak some havoc. Immediately we get attacked. Our ships are going to excel at long range. And we have two fleets. We want to put our invasion ships in the top flotilla. And I'm trying to see, I want 9. Yeah, this one over here. So these are the ones that have our manpower on them. We definitely don't want them getting destroyed. We don't really want any of our ships getting destroyed, but if anybody gets attacked, this hero ship can take some damage and not really be too big of a problem. Plus he's way better at long range. The rest of these ships are also pretty solid at long range. So we'll see how this goes. I think this is the right tactic. They're probably going to go with hard target, which will decrease or increase their defenses against our long-range attack, but we're going to get a morale bonus. We should just completely overwhelm them with firepower. I don't expect us to take any losses even if we take damage, since they're not running in missiles, which are probably the only thing that would be strong enough to kill us outright. But we'll see. Plus 10 damage and 5 accuracy. That's good to know. I've never noticed that this little icon pops up when you get the morale bonus, but that should only increase our advantage. Alright, so here we go. And we did a good amount of damage. They're definitely not dealing much damage to us. First ship should be going down here shortly. Alright. And that is the end of that. So we took a very, very small amount of damage in that first round. I like the way that that went. Our hero leveled up. We're going to go ahead and get more XP per turn. Let's take a look at the advanced stats. Yeah, we did all right. They had some laser weapons, but certainly not enough. And our missiles did fantastic. Over 5,000 damage, 3,000 damage with our lasers, and a little bit of critical damage. So yeah, pretty much went as expected. That is the power of logistics, my friends. Knowing what you need and having it. Okay, so we have a couple of options here. We are currently besieging them. They do not have much of a ground force at all. They're losing 74 per turn. That's 60 for our 4 titanium modules, plus an additional 14 for our fleet size being 7. Command points doubled is the 14. So that's where that comes from. I almost think we just wait a turn and take these guys out. Now, while we're waiting, we might as well send a probe down this lane, see if we can't uncover that last system over there. And as a precaution, maybe send one down this way too, just in case. They have ships over here that we can't see. That'll give us some good intel, and we can go ahead and blockade the system so that ships can't get in or out without our say-so. 2 turns, they won't have any defenses left to retaliate. So these pirates must have been doing something to them, because nobody else has really been over here that we've seen. We've shot enough probes over here. I would think that if the cravers were interacting with the Sophons at this point, Sophons, however you pronounce it, we probably would have noticed some craver ships, and they probably would have come and scouted us as well. Just my best guess. I feel pretty good about where we're at, though. Okay. So the last thing that we want to do before we do perform any type of an invasion is we want to change up our... okay, that is finally ended. He's already gained another level. That's just fantastic. What does... Hold on a second. This is one of those weird abilities. So the first level of this gives a lot of bonuses. Plus 50 per trading company on Empire, and plus 40 on system, with a 5% bonus on system. The second point gives an additional 20 on system and an additional 5% on system only. Not so sure that the second point is worth as much as the first. How much science are we even generating at this point in the game? We're generating over 600 science per turn. 30 is less than a 5%. Yeah, that's not a very big increase to our science output. That's really a drop in the bucket at this point in the game. So I don't think that getting the science buff is really worthwhile. I mean, 20 more on system, which he will always be, and another 5% on top of that's not horrible given our choices. I mean, I could also go for more dust or more industry. But I think our industry in that system is fine. We're already building things faster than we can keep up with. We're going to go with that. I mean, it's probably not the most efficient thing we could have done, but... Alright, how many trade companies can we have? We need to add the trade company headquarters to the star system. I don't know enough about this trade company. New trade company requests a headquarters location. Locked. Commercial calls for commerce. The more trade income you generate, the faster entrepreneurs will request establishment of new trading companies. 0 of 5. The number of trading companies compared to the maximum number allowed. This is a system I'm very unfamiliar with. I'm thinking, so the one thing that I do remember about this system is that you want to have your trading companies as far apart as possible. So I think we want to build one here. I think. I need to get the research for snow worlds too, but we're not growing fast enough yet to really make that a priority. It looks like we only get a chance to build one because it's disappeared from this queue. So maybe we can have 5, but we can only build them one at a time or something like that. I guess we'll go with the approval. That's 10 more approval. That'll push us over the happiness limit that we need. System improvement is complete. I just said we needed the snow world. Need is probably not the right word for that. We are 1 tech away from our next system development. And we do have antimatter that we need to start mining. So that's going to be the next tech. Our science is actually really pretty good. 5 turns for a tier 3 tech isn't bad at all, I don't think. Move our ships a little bit, and we have some incoming pirates. We should be able to take care of them as easily as we did the last group. Not very concerned about that. We've generated... Oh, we have a curiosity we can search. Okay. Sure, we'll take a small hit to science for a free tech. The other thing, we got a free tech earlier, and I didn't bother to see what it might have been. So it wasn't in that tree. And it wasn't in this tree. We grab both of those. We grab both of those. We grab both of those. I don't know what it was. That's curious to me. Yeah, I don't see where that free random technology that we picked up, what it actually was. Everything I'm seeing are all ones that I remember researching. Yeah, we researched that. I remember that. Huh. Maybe we did get the reward for that? I don't know. We're not gonna mess with it. We can invade now. They only have 4 defenders. We might as well do it this turn, right? before we do have some options here. We have the ability to move our troops into tanks. Tanks are significantly better than infantry when fighting infantry. They're not as good as infantry when fighting air units. The Sophons do not have anything but infantry currently, and their infantry is weak. So by switching over primarily to tanks, if not entirely to tanks, I think they're going to be at a huge disadvantage. And we actually have enough to do both of these techs. So these are going to be the most important two. You can actually get even more powerful with these next few, but they're a little bit more expensive, particularly with these resources, which we do have coming in here soon. I'm going to go ahead and go with this. Do I want to just go 100% tanks? Having a little bit of granularity in your manpower gives you the option of fielding slightly more of it. One of the problems when you have a large amount of manpower with tanks is because each tank costs 15, you're unable to field if you only have 10 or 5 manpower left over in your group. That being said, we may want to do both of these as well. That's going to require us to make some sales. So we can go back to the marketplace, go to our luxury items, and go to our giant stock of this, and kaboom. We now have all of the dust we've ever needed. We might as well upgrade as far as we can for both of these. And I'm going to keep just a little bit of granularity so that I can field a couple of infantry if I run out of space. So like for example, 100 manpower of troops will actually only field 90 manpower worth of tanks, because you can't actually make the last one with the last 10. And so unless you allow your army to have a little bit of infantry to fill those last 2 spots, you will not be able to do that. And so it's actually unoptimal to go with 100% tanks in terms of just the sheer number of manpower you can actually deploy every turn. I'm going to lock this so that it doesn't actually change. That only really matters if you're playing around with the numbers a lot. But we're never going to use a lot of infantry. We want to minimize the number of infantry we use. We just want them there so that we can squeeze those last few bits of manpower out of our cap. And sometimes we won't even need them, but it'll field a few of them for us. So go ahead and confirm that for now. Plus, just in case they ever do put some air units. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and drop our invasion force. They only have 4. They can conscript, and by conscripting, they might gain as many as 39. So they have the potential to conscript some of that population we saw earlier. I think it's beneficial for us to go with guerrilla. Guerrilla is going to minimize the damage to this system at this point, and I think we overwhelm them enough that even if they bring 175 more manpower to the field, we're going to wipe them out pretty handily. I like to watch the battles. There's not much to watch, but it's still semi-entertaining to me for some reason. Alright. lot of damage. Those upgraded tanks are devastating to infantry. We did lose our manpower in the fight, but we hardly lost any of our tanks. They did use conscription, and so if you mouse over this, it tells you that 175 additional troops, and you can increase your deployment limit above that if your normal deployment limit is 600. That's why it says 775 for theirs currently. It does cost you a point of population, which is what this is from, and we did destroy the Exo Science Station, but we've won the day and the system is now ours. So let's take a look at what the Sophons had going. Well, they tried to prepare for us. They built 2 system defense buildings, but because they were being attacked by pirates or some other player, their actual manpower on the system was pretty low at the time that we engaged them. So that is going to make this a pretty strong bottleneck for us eventually. It's unfortunate that they didn't build their Xeno-industrial infrastructure, because their version of this building is actually better than ours. And maybe they did build it and it got destroyed in an earlier battle that we weren't privy to. That's a possibility. But the Sophons actually have a better version of this building than we do. It also benefits from cold planets. So it's unfortunate. The nice thing is we can go ahead and buy this out. I'm not sure that I want to do that yet, but I think I do. I thought this was destroyed. I'm curious that it's still showing up, even though it said it was destroyed in the battle that we saw earlier. Yeah, let's get that and that. Definitely gonna need some food. Ice Baron and Baron. Yeah, we're gonna have to be doing some more research here soon. Also, they did a system development and they use Jadonics just like we did, so that's good. Okay. I think that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and pay this out. And we're gonna continue to blockade this system. Repairs and upgrades. Which ship is damaged? I don't even see. None of our ships are damaged. Okay. I guess the question is, do we want to wait a turn to deal with these pirates? And the answer is yes. I think getting rid of the pirates is a good idea. We should have... Nope, not yet. We can actually build real military ships now, which we should start doing once we get these out of the way. And I may even... Do we need the Mineral Miser's Axe? We're going to have to run this again, aren't we? We'll make sure that we come back and run this before we actually get both of those going. Okay, lots of stuff going on. Sudden rise in galactic inflation has led to market-wide price increases. That's not bad for us. We're working on the Intergalactic Technology Center. We may not finish that. This should have triggered our Hisho quest, which is probably what that is. We're losing siphon population due to rebellion. They've moved up to friendly. We now gain control of the system. We were... there we go. By assimilating these guys, that gave us enough to overtake them. So by taking this system and assimilating the Hishu, we have a very, very strong presence now. This is another colony ship. Unfortunately, which way is it traveling? It appears to be traveling in the opposite direction that we are. That's unfortunate. Oh, we have some Hishu ships now. Well, that is quite useful. What to do with these Hishu? An excellent question. I'm gonna have to think about that. This constellation is just ginormous. I can probably just put these guys in a blockade here for now and prevent any food ships from heading that way. We can re-equip these ships and try and go and find him. My guess is he's going to try to land on Ingress and create another colony, but it's not going to matter all that much. We got a lot of stuff going on here, so first and foremost, let's go ahead and search some curiosities, shall we? Search that. And we can send another probe this way, just to keep an eye on things down that lane. Militarism. Increases militarist political ideology. Not so concerned about that. Oh, okay. We get a new pirate ship. Is it any good? You know what? This would be the perfect pirate ship to join up with the Hishu fleet and fill the final slot that is currently missing. Alright, we have the option to do some attacking. Let's take a peek at his ship and see if he's made any changes to his... What do we got here? They've switched to beam weapons. It looks like exclusively to beam weapons. That's fine. I think we'll still completely decimate beam weapons. Missiles are a very strong counter to energy weapons, especially exclusively energy weapons. So our fleet will decimate him at long range, well before his beams are able to do enough damage of significance. Clearly, his numbers don't really help his situation either. He has researched tanks, but he hasn't actually shifted any of his population to tanks currently. Okay. We're going to go ahead and attack, and we're going to attack the pirates because they need to go away. I think we'll use the same tactic as before. And not sure why. 9, 9. Yeah, alright, that looks a little better. 10, 10, 10, 10. I'm not really sure why these ones are white and those three are red. Not seeing why that is. But, whatever. Let's go ahead and fight this one out again. I think this time we'll make it a little bit more of a cinematic experience. Since we're fairly certain of the outcome. Beautiful. Another crushing victory for us. They happen to use 2 fleets of pirates, and unfortunately we only have 1 fleet. So we cannot attack them again. We can continue to blockade this system, but we do need to do something, and that is I need to break these 3 ships out. These were the invasion ones, yes. Oh, actually, no, I don't. We have our full allotment of manpower because we didn't really lose any and we gained some back for the last turn. We may wait one more turn and try and destroy these pirates before we move on to Vorta. I don't want to leave my system in a bad spot. We're going to get these 2 out. We need to split them into 2 separate fleets. We'll send one of them that way and the other one that way. And we will go ahead and run the New Colony Act. Let's take a look here. Medium Mediterranean. Oh, interesting. I cannot colonize a medium Mediterranean because I have not learned that technology. This one, however, I could learn. This is a ton of industry, and we'll start bringing in this in 3 turns. So even though we haven't finished the colony in 3 turns, we'll be bringing this resource in. Excuse me. That's one option. 5 extra dust and 3 approval. The other option is we wait a turn and I pick up rare earth foams, which gives me Mediterranean, which takes exactly, whoops, 1 turn. Ugh. I think we'll just go ahead and do this. And I think what we'll do is we will spend the 375 here shortly to make that happen. we're not going to pop the food because there's very little food being generated on this planet. This one has a step world with food, and so we will pop this one, and we won't be boosting the food this way. We're just going to let the planets that it chose for now send the food. Actually, I want to see if... where did it pick this one? This one picked Chang, and we're just sending 80 if we sent it from Chang. But what would it be if we sent it from here? Rotef would be 84 as well. Which places have the most food? Chang has the most food. Yeah, let's just keep it at Chang then. 80 and 84 isn't all that different, so. Libra's still limping along. Alright, we are getting there, slowly but surely. I would love to buy out some of these, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, I'm afraid. Oh yes, I forgot. We did colonize the Hishu system, which is actually a really nice system, all things considered. 2 Savannah worlds give us lots of temperate bonuses. Xeno-industrial infrastructure is doing some hardcore work here. Only 30? Oh, because we've only colonized one planet. 30 for one planet is pretty good, actually. Yeah, so let's go ahead and grab that. Each one of these is worth 20 industry, so we'll grab both of those. Drone network, cerebral reality. We do have one luxury resource, so this is worth 10 food. And we have a subterranean resource, which I could search here very shortly, if not right now. Looks like next turn we'll make it with our scout ship. Maybe 2 turns. It looks like we're going to be just shy. Okay. Moving on. Little by little, we're clawing our advantage. Another Imperial was born. Chang. What can we build in Chang that would be of use? We need to research desert planets. These guys like fertile worlds. The Imperials don't care so much. So maybe we pull that. Nope. Happier this way at the moment. Happiness building would be good then. We do have an anomaly, and we have a lot of population on that world, so that would be good. And we do have a subterranean over here, but we need to learn some higher level scouting. We also need to get the desert planet research. We got a lot of science level research we need to start maybe focusing on. Oh, I forgot to take rarer foams off, so I guess we still needed to grab it. We just didn't need to grab it as quickly as I had once considered. Alright. Our shuttle got attacked. Well, we're gonna retreat. Where did those pirates come from? They were on Vorta? These pirates must have jumped over there. Well, we'll solve that problem, and we'll jump over there and take them out. You should pick on someone your own size. We're not going to watch this time. And our hero has leveled up. 5% damage on fleet, or 5% shield capacity and health on fleet. Our fleet is better at damage than it is at durability, so increasing it by a percentage is going to be more meaningful. Lower health, lower percentage, not really going to affect us as much. I think that's the better one. Go ahead and grab that for now. And we will start sieging this world down. So let's see where we're at. They have 427 manpower available for defense. They've built a couple of defensive buildings. They're probably the same ones that we saw in the other system. So a reduced chance of losing population from our attacks. But we're going to go ahead and siege them down quite low before we engage, because there's nothing they can do about it. They haven't shown any kind of a real fleet to speak of. And because of that, I'm just going to continue to use what little I have to take them out. We have a quest here? I'm not sure what that quest is related to. Let's see. Lord of War. Reach 60 approval in those systems. Like exactly 60? Is that what they want? Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. Send the expedition. I know what that one is. We still haven't reached 800 manpower because we keep building things that prevent it. We have a very simple solution to that, and that is chain gang program, which wouldn't take us long to research at all. Definitely want to start mining this at a faster rate. Oh. Okay, let's take a look here. So Libra has dropped. One of our 25% bonuses for the colony thing has fallen off. It may have actually fallen off the turn. So this needs to get up. Okay, so what were the systems? Rotev, Libra, and Akab. Alright, so Q that. That takes care of Akab. Rotev, I'll just need to move population around, and Libra is in a bad place. We can move both of these up. That should do it. That's going to take a while. Not much I can do about that, though. It is a new system. Technologies we need. We definitely need this. This is going to unlock new curiosities. I'm going to go ahead and queue that one up next. And another turn. We're up to 93 per turn, which is good. We have the ability to take out those guys and search some curiosities. Or at least the one curiosity. More Jadonics, okay. I was correct, they went ahead and colonized that. As long as this fleet stays here, though, they're not going to be able to do nothing. I guess the question now is, do we want these patrol ships to be more siege ships? Or do we want them to be invasion ships or something else entirely? That is the question. We could go ahead and throw some more better probe modules on there and send them out in different directions to scout the galaxy. I think that makes sense. Weapon-wise, do we want to change their weaponry at all? We could change them to cheaper weapons, just so we don't have to spend the luxury or the strategics on these. What do these beam weapons look like? Basic phase beams. 19 compared to 34. I think we'll just leave it as it is. I think this is a pretty good ship design. The one thing I would maybe reconsider is the quality of the hull plating versus the shielding. I think shielding's generally the better choice, but yeah, we'll go ahead and apply that. And I will promote both of these for now. And is not going to let me split these. Here we go. Okay. Alright. You guys are going to have to brave Craver space, it looks like. So we'll send one of you over here. And let's go ahead and shoot out a couple of probes into Craver space. And then let's take the other one and let's send him over to this system, and we'll shoot more out this direction and see if we can't find another constellation that way. Yeah, that should be enough to get that up, since we had the approval to do it. We might as well. Sleepy sleep that ship for the time being, and our dust is running negative again. That's largely due to the vast number of military ships we currently have. Probably an excessive amount. Pulsos. Oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. This constellation goes even further? Well, That'll get us past the first tier. Okay, finally, a real battle. Let's see what they have. So let's look at their defensive ship first. Their defensive ship's only going to have one weapon, and it is a laser cannon. That doesn't bode well for them because we have missiles. That ship will go down extremely quickly. Their attackers are also using laser cannons, and they do not have the proper defenses for a massive amount of military might. So I think we go with this same barrage fire strategy. We do want to be careful how we arrange our ships though. So, Patrol 9, Patrol 9, and Patrol 9. These were the manpower ships. We do not want them engaging the enemy because I don't want them to fall. We need the manpower for our invasion. These siege ships are important, but they're less important. And our hero definitely can just soak whatever fire he gets. So barrage fire it is. We'll definitely watch this one. And I think we're getting pretty close to ending this video. It's been a long one again, but this will probably wrap up this series and I'll move on to something else. So if you have ideas for something else you'd like to see me play, let me know. I'm not opposed to doing another playthrough with the United Empire, maybe with a bad system. Try and play a few games till I find a start that's bad. We could also do another nose. So if there's this particular topic you want me to cover and do some research on and provide some information for you guys, I'd be willing to do that as well. So please leave some guidance in the comments section for what you're interested in seeing me do more of. If it's just more of this particular game, I'm not opposed to that, but it does get, the turns get longer as I play, let's just put it that way, and so it becomes incredibly tedious and long for me to finish a game and still make it entertaining. One thing I am considering looking into is using turn timers to prevent me from rambling on and on. Yeah, decisive victory. Missiles are completely devastating if you do not have any kind of flak defense. Obviously swarm missiles aren't really countered by flak defense, but regular missiles are. Their damage is almost completely negated if you have flak cannons, unless you have a very large number of missiles coming at somebody. Energy weapons are the worst thing you can bring to a fight with a fleet that has missiles like mine does, so they are not going to be able to do much. This is about, well, it's about 4 turns from completely removing all of their forces, and it's about 3 turns from making the fight pretty much a non-factor, which is what we're going to do. So we'll probably wait about 3 turns and then we'll take that one over, and that will be a good place to stop. I'm going to try to speed through these next few turns. I know I say that all the time and it never happens, but okay. More dust or more approval and a penalty to dust. This is on Uva. We need to see what Uva looks like. Well, it's mutinous. So I don't think that approval penalties or bonuses are going to matter all that much, to be perfectly honest. That definitely needs to get made. Yeah, it's going to be way more than 10 turns before we get the approval up anyway, so we might as well take free dust. Alright, what do we got here? This system can generate more dust. Chang. Chang can generate more dust. And can build me another settler. Are we getting close to being able to buy any of this stuff out? Not really. I really wanted to try and get this up sooner than this is happening. Unfortunately, it's just not going to happen, apparently. So, probably not this game. What else can we do? We're being pitifully sieged here. I don't even know if it's worth worrying about that one ship. We've got another one here, though, that's kind of becoming a nuisance. Maybe we send this fleet down here to deal with that. It's going to take a while to get there, though. These ships don't have very good engines. I think it's probably best to leave this fleet over here in case of a Craver attack. It is costing us a lot of money, though. The other thing we could do is just sell it. 800 dust and 600 manpower. Probably maybe a little more once this gets over there. I'm not going to do anything because we're continuing to be able to grab these ships, civilian ships that the Sophons are trying to send over. I guess we're just going to go ahead and fly across this. The dangers of Craver's space. We don't want to upset them. Not too much. Not until we get our navy up and running. I was planning on hitting this, which I think we are going to go ahead and do. And that will speed that process up a little bit. Who else was almost out of things to build? Oh, we needed to adjust population over here. We're shy of where we want to be again. So let's see if we can't fix that. I can get up to 68. Yeah, this is fine. This gives us as good of a setup as any. Because we do have so much over here, we can go ahead and throw some more dust production here. Dust is not going to be a problem much longer. We're going to switch all this dust production to something else at some point, but we'll cut the trickle down by a little bit here and there. Oh, another thing we haven't done this game yet is we haven't talked to these guys in a while.
How can the families help?
What do you guys think of a trade agreement? They really like a trade agreement. Can I get some map sharing with that trade agreement? They like that too. Do they want to give me any of their systems? They probably would. But they would not give me their capital. I know that.
I also have an empire to run and contracts to take out. I mean, sign.
Um, do we need any of these? Not particularly. I think this is fine. We can't make this offer because we do not have the influence.
Huh.
What if we just talk about map sharing? Alright. They like that a little bit. Whoa. You've been busy. Much busier than I have in terms of scouting. Well, that answers that question. Um, there is nothing out here. Or at least nothing that they've uncovered, I guess is what I should say. Okay, Cravers. So the Cravers are pretty contained at the moment. They have a pretty long empire similar to ours. They're also aware of a lot of stuff going on over here. So that was probably worthy. I think that was pretty fair trade because we've uncovered all of this. That's pretty similar to how much they've uncovered. I think they've got us beat by a little bit though. Lots of notifications here. Minor sieves, location of that. Araga, another minor sieve. Vale. I don't really care for those. Some more luxury resources. The Mavros. Nebula. 50% of the galaxy, the Cravers.
Not just a deal, a bargain.
I agree. That was very useful. Thank you very much. Okay. So this is again why my turns are just gonna get longer and longer as I try to deal with all this nonsense. Um, we're gonna do a couple more turns though. I do want to finish off my invasion of Vorta. So. We lost some laws. That's unfortunate. Extreme atmospherics is done, so we're now collecting antimatter. And we can colonize gas worlds, which is useful. Because of that, we can now do our tier 3, I believe it is. Tier 3. We got mining tech. Yeah, there's not a lot of good stuff to build here. We can get this built, but that's not really going to help us all that much. Maybe before we get that finished, we should grab... Buyout. Which technology is it? Is it this one? No. Ah, here it is. 3D printing. Converts production into dust. Oof. We really need the ability to turn our production into dust or science. So one of these two needs to be done. This is actually really powerful. Much more powerful than I considered at first. Um, Slag and Sludge Center is +1 resource generation on all resource deposits. That means we're going to be producing an incredibly large amount of luxury resources. So I think this is the one we want to grab. 6 turns. That's a lot of turns that we're going to wait. But I think what we'll do in that 6 turns is build some ships, some more military ships in particular. So let's take just a quick moment and look at our Corvette class ships, and we can see that they are not very well kitted out at the moment. So we can set up to 3. I think something like that looks pretty good. Because they are using energy weapons, I'm going to leave the shields there. And do we want to throw Hyperion engines on these bad boys too? Why not? Go ahead and apply that design. And then our escort ship. I have a very specific plan for you. Let's see. We've only got 1 weapon slot. I'm going to put this weapon on it, mainly because I want flak defenses in case they use missiles. And then in terms of defensive slots, we're going to go 2 hull plating because this is basically just a missile sponge. Missiles would strongly counter our current ships, but this will survive better against missiles. And we'll have to throw this engine on it just so it can keep up, but we're not going to do anything else. I'm not even going to build the escort ships unless we see some counterplay with missiles. So let's just build me a couple of those. Ooh. Well, we're currently at 100 manpower per turn, so that's good. That means that we can build a ship every turn of this quality and size at least. Alright. +2 resource generation on all strategics for several turns. I will not turn down. Somebody else assimilated these guys. We're way far away from that, so we're not going to worry about it. Move all of our ships.
The Hive cares little for the interests of other races.
Oh, that's good. We're not so fond of you either. Okay, I can send probes out this way. So let's get that. Alright, so there is a world there. We should be able to jump to that world next turn. Just wait. No ships for us to destroy over here. We have them down to 200, so we'll do 2 more turns and then we'll invade. We have probes.
We will all...
Send a probe that way. And that way, just to see if they send stuff down this lane. We should maybe catch a glimpse of it. Alright, and a couple more turns. lots of things being built. We do have a new settler. Oh, not yet. In a turn we get a new settler. So what do we build if we don't? I guess we build that for a couple turns. I'm running out of things to build here. Bunch of Imperial births. One of our populations is decreasing. Siphons are going down. The pilgrims have been
You're
assimilated.
one of our favorite fish in this galactic sea.
Sweet, sweet dust. Okay.
How are you these days?
A trade
Care for a little
agreement.
business?
I would love a trade agreement with you at the moment. It would be nice if we could even maybe get an alliance with them, to be perfectly honest. That would really probably increase our chance of winning the game. Alright, we have a civilian fleet to destroy. Move our ships. We're going to merge that fleet up. And we've got well, the interest in searching out everything over here has waned significantly. I wanted to know what was going on in the world, and now I really not so sure I want to know what's going on. Do we want to try to assist these guys? I think not. I'm not in a hurry to grab that system.
Tell us what you plan.
Yeah, we're gonna refuse. We're not leaving your space.
Tell us what you plan.
Alright, they're gonna try to close borders on us. And they did.
Tell us.
Yeah. My plans are secret. Alright, I got ships in several places. So we have a settler here. And we have a corvette here. Okay, Gossamer is for sale. We've lost some population. I'm not concerned. We're gonna increase that. And you can hear my dog in the background. Jacob! That's enough, buddy.
You're the caviar of the galaxy.
Alright, they like that.
Your world.
And they're threatening us now. I'm not sure where this ship is going to go. I guess what we're going to do is go to Cheng and blockade this system with it. If he sends another scout in or out, we'll be able to catch it. And we can search some curiosities here. 2 of them to be exact. Smart repair bots. Those are useful. And Team Spirit Battle card is not as useful. I don't really want to be in Craver's space, so can I guess we'll fly over there. It'll take us a while, but we can get there. Unfortunately, this ship has very little in terms of places I can go because, again, the Cravers have closed their borders to us, so we're not allowed to move through their bubbles. Are we ready for this invasion yet? I think so. Okay, they do have some ships. Alright, let's go ahead and do our invasion, and so I think I've pointed this out in other videos. Blitz is a terrible tactic to use unless you have reinforcements or a capacity greater than your deployment limit. The main advantage of this is the extra manpower that you are able to deploy to overrun your opponents. The bonus damage is meh, and the damage or the reduction to your health is pretty significant. So I would very rarely use this unless you have a much larger force. Oh boy. I think we're going to just use guerrillas again. Jake! Hush it up, buddy. I know you hear the sirens. This should be a nice little light show. Ooh, so they have... So that was tractable armaments that you saw. Wow, and they actually survived. Tractable armaments deals damage to you before the battle, very similar to preemptive bombing. And it's a great way to clear out infantry. It's a very strong counter to an infantry-based force because you can remove a large portion of their infantry before they get a chance to fight. And you kind of saw that happen where our infantry just got decimated before the fight even really began. So this is going to take another turn, which is fine because I'm going to play one more turn, and that is it. See, and this is the one I was talking about, the Mega Indie Consultancy. It basically is Xeno-industrial infrastructure plus the addition of cold planets, also giving a bonus. So we will go ahead and end the turn. I think one thing I am going to go ahead and do is I am going to go ahead and increase this to 100%. Because of tractable armaments, the manpower that we get are not going to survive that first barrage. The tanks have a much stronger chance of surviving the barrage, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Even if we do miss out on just a few little points of manpower, I think that is well worth it. And this will be the last turn. So 60 turns. This has been a very long 60 turns. And I apologize for that, but this is kind of the way that I play the game. So if you're still watching, you must enjoy it. Watching somebody play the game very slowly and methodically. And if you do, please mention that in the comments, because it encourages me to do more. I can buy that out, but I think I'm going to wait because I have something else I want to buy out. We'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, this is finally ended, so we didn't get any bonus from the trade routes, really. Not too concerned with that yet. Let's get all of our ships moving. And let's do these last two things, and then we'll end the battle here. So, because they're only using infantry, preemptive bombing is very powerful against infantry units. The 400 to 800 damage that you deal with preemptive bombing actually happens before the fight begins. And so you can actually remove quite a few of their units before the fight ever happens. I think this is going to be the best way to clear them off. They're going to probably conscript again, which is fine, but because we don't have any infantry, the tractable armaments will deal some damage, but we probably aren't going to lose very many tanks. Tanks have a much higher health pool than infantry do, so that little bit of trickle damage that the preemptive attack on our troops deals is pretty insignificant. The other thing is, by preemptive bombing, we reduce the amount of troops we can actually field, but we're already at 465. That's almost the cap anyways, so we're actually going to have a few fewer tanks engage by doing this tactic. But once we fall below that limit, it makes sense to always preemptively bomb, at least in terms of a sheer damage capacity. So you can see, there's our preemptive bombing. And yeah. So we lost a fair amount of our troops, but not enough to matter. And that is the end of their system. So they did conscript. They also lost a second population from our preemptive bombing. And you can see our cap now is 450. That's because preemptive bombing reduces our cap. And we had 30 instead of the 31 or 32 tanks that we were capable of sending down. Alright, another system falls to our empire. Definitely want to get that rebuilt. Get that up. Get some more food. Get some more dust. And we'll... Man, look at all these cold planets. And now we'll deal with this. This ship looks like it's rocking some form of missiles. Hard to say whether they're swarm missiles or standard missiles. Regardless, we don't have any defenses that are good against those types of things. So I'm not sure what we want to do. I think we just go with what we have for the moment. And we see what happens. We will zoom in on his ship and get a nice view. Camera overview. Alright, let's pause. Free camera it so he can get a nice view. Of his ship over the shoulder here. Okay, so he went swarm missiles. We took half of his damage with one missile barrage, or half of his health with one missile barrage, so we may not even lose any ships. Decisive victory. I'm sure we took some damage in that fight. Yeah. One of our patrol ships took some damage, but none of our ships went down. Because our ships have leveled up, they have almost as much health as a regular attack ship, and that is one of the advantages of the United Empire that doesn't get talked about enough. Their basic patrol ship is very powerful as a military ship, especially if you can get some hero experience boosters on them like I have with my hero, so those ships are constantly engaging and leveling up and not dying. I mean, those ships normally have about half that number of hit points when they're built, and so having a veteran class ship like that, pretty powerful. I'm not sure how the bonuses to damage or accuracy are applied from the veteran status. It might be something I need to research, but I know that the health of the ship is significantly higher, obviously, as you level it up. So definitely an advantage that the United Empire have with their ships. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up. It's been another long one. I hope you've enjoyed this dive into the United Empire with me. You can see basically my win condition is going to be probably forming an alliance with these guys, and finishing off the Sophons will be my main objective. And then once I have this entire constellation, I shouldn't have any trouble using my massive amount of influence to build massive fleets to deal with any Craver nonsense that might come my way. And then just maybe snowball into an alliance victory with these guys, generating massive amounts of dust trade. I could see the amount of trade that we would get from, you know, running a trade route from all the way down this chain and even out to this side, would be quite strong. But it's going to take me another 60 turns probably to completely wipe out the Sophons, because they're just obnoxious and they're going to keep sending civilian ships over here, or at least try to. I should be able to intercept them now with the fleets that I have, but there it is. Again, leave any comments on suggestions, ideas for my next series of videos, and I hope you've enjoyed this series as much as I have enjoyed playing it. Again, this has been The Nose Plays, and have a great day.